All right.
my first hot take is that no 100 million, I guess euro is the currency they're normally issued in. No 100 million euro signing has been worth it, including Mbappe. Yes, and so I think he would be the most contingent one. So I think, I don't know if I can do these all off the top of my head, but I think there was 10 of them. So Griezmann, Coutinho, Dembele, all to Barcelona. Hazard, flop. Lukaku is still kind of up for debate. Jack Grealish.
Grealish has actually had a pretty good season. I'll talk about. Yeah.
Okay.
That's another hot take.
Yeah, that's a very hot take. Jadon Sancho. Gareth Bale he's had a good career. I think he's a debatable one. And then Ronaldo to
Madrid.
Juve. To Juve, yeah. Which didn't really, so I think, and then Neymar and Mbappe.
Yeah.
Neymar was like 220 million. So I think the debate out of all of that, the debatable ones I see are Bale and Mbappe for being worth their price. But I still don't think they're worth it. And I guess I'll speak to Mbappe because I think he's more, we see him scoring these crazy goals. And so I think if he wins the Champions League this year, it's worth it. But in the past 4 years, he hasn't won it, making it not worth it. And so I think he was brought in to win the Champions League, not to win League One, not to win like the Coupe de France.
Yeah.
So the fact that they haven't won when he's there means it wasn't worth it.
Right.
And I think all these other players, to generalize a bit, but I think it's pretty valid. They've all pretty much been flops.
Yeah.
To at least some extent.
Yeah.
So I don't think any of them are worth it. And I don't know why that is. It seems kind of weird that once you hit that tick, it doesn't work out. But someone like Kai Havertz, I think seems like he hasn't fulfilled his potential. But I think at 70 million, he's already made himself worth it by the fact that scoring that Champions League goal and then scoring this goal or the penalty in the Super Cup, that kind of seals the deal on his price tag. Mm-hmm. Whereas these other players, I don't think have done enough to, give them that sort of value.
I think Mbappe is worth it. I think the price tag is different for different clubs. Clubs like Man City and PSG aren't struggling to fill their other roles. Like PSG has a pretty good back four and midfield, and it's not like they went all in on Mbappe and they aren't able to. They got Messi, they got Ramos, they got Hakimi. It's not like they're struggling. They're putting all their. It's not like that American leagues that you have to spend a certain amount of your salary cap on this player. So I think a player like Mbappe, though they haven't won the Champions League, has significantly improved PSG and has reduced the competition of PSG because Mbappe is on PSG and not on Real Madrid right now. And that's probably a reason why they won.
Yeah. I think that's actually a big point.
So I think, no, so I honestly, if PSG wins the league this year or wins the Champions League, my opinion will be kind of swayed, but I guess I'm not worried about PSG's finances and I'm not worried about their spending because they're not worried about finances. They don't obviously Mbappe brought in a lot of revenue for them and jersey sales and viewership and all this sort of stuff. But I don't think he has proven that value.
Right, but you're saying that it wasn't worth it to pay $100 million to Mbappe when another club would. So you're
That's
saying
fair.
You're saying that it wasn't worth the deal to bring him to PSG when I think yes, it was because of how he improved the team and because PSG isn't strapped financially. So yes, if Aston Villa spends $100 million on Mbappe and it cripples their team, that's not worth it at all. But teams that
have the money,
it
doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. What I will say is a lot of those $100 million have hurt them. Juventus hasn't been great since they got Ronaldo because that strapped them at least somewhat financially, spending $100 million and then him leaving 2 years later.
I actually think they made it all back in jersey sales.
The
Like
action.
actually, yeah. I mean, of course
But,
they have
like,
to pay his salary,
yeah.
right, which is the biggest thing. But I think they sold more jerseys, like euro amount, than they paid in the transfer fee, which is
That's
insane.
crazy.
Which is insane.
That's absurd.
So, yeah, I mean, Barcelona is probably the biggest one. Like Griezmann,
Yeah.
Coutinho, Dembele. Like that's
Yeah, I
over
mean,
400 mil.
Right, and obviously, like Mbappe is debatable, and he's like the only one on that list that
Yeah.
I really see debatable. I actually know Bale. I do think Bale. He had a
Yeah.
good string
had a
of
great-
years there. He had a really.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of seems to be leaving Madrid with a little bit of sour taste, but he had a very good career there.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, the rest of them, I'm not really. I want to hear what do you
I
have to
think-
say on Grealish?
Grealish probably hasn't had the goal or assist tally, but I've watched him in a few games for Man City, and he is still a very good player. And though 100 million is a lot, it's not as much for Man City, and it takes him away from a lot of the bigger clubs in the Premier League. If you look at the stats, or like the kind of underlying stats, he is at the same level as Mahrez and Sterling and the other players on Man City. He's just a younger guy who's going to be there for a while. They got him for 100 million. That's a lot. They secured one of the top talents in the Premier League for 100
Is
million.
he younger than Sterling?
Isn't he like 21? Sterling's like 24.
I think Grealish is like 24 or 25.
Oh, is
I
he?
thought he was older. Yeah,
I think he's
Oh.
like 24, like maybe even 26. And I think Sterling is like 20.
I think Sterling's 26.
I think
Yeah.
he's a
Something like
similar
that.
player to those, to like Sterling and.
If he was 21, yes.
Right.
I don't.
I
think
didn't
he
realize
is.
he was that old.
I think he's like 25 or 26.
I think it's a misconception that he's not doing that well this season. I think it's tough to do well, to like really shine in the Man City side.
That's fair.
I think he's doing the role he is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. No,
Still not worth it.
no, I don't like because okay, so I don't think there was no other teams that were going to buy him for 100 mil. He was like Man City was the only one that was interested in buying him. Their competition, he's obviously was not a threat at Villa because Villa was not a threat in general. So, he could have gone to another team in a couple of years and been a more influential team on the field. But that being said, I think if they're just buying him so another team doesn't have him, like I don't think that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just like I feel like they should be able to do more with him. Like make him that key player in your team, which he's not.
Right.
He's not starting like
That is fair that he's not the catalyst of that team.
right. And so I mean, maybe like I think that's why he's not worth 100 million in my eyes is because he went there and he's not like obviously Pep switches around his team, but Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Sterling play more than him most of the time.
Foden too.
Yeah, I don't know about Foden hasn't played as much this year, I don't think, but
I think Foden's played,
maybe.
but I guess they all cycle.
That's the
they
thing.
all
Yeah,
cycle.
he's just kind of like another cog in the wheel, which
Yeah.
I mean, obviously City can do that for 100 million, but I don't know.
I also think that
I also don't know like how to it's also very hard to quantify
Worth.
what 100 million of value
yeah,
is.
I was gonna say like
that's
100 million
very-
because the 100 million isn't like it's really just like a bribe to Aston Villa to
Sell him.
terminate the contract and give exclusive rights to Man City to create a contract. So and Man City can turn around and do the same and sell Grealish to Real or PSG in a couple of years for like probably like 70 million, maybe not 100 million, maybe more. So I think price tags are a little overrated in general because you can always not always but like there's a potential to sell the player on, and it's really just like a temporary bribe if the player is improving to a less or not a smaller club in order to get the player. I think a bigger I feel like if a team like Man City or PSG deems a player worth bringing into the squad, they have the financial capabilities to just like to do it, and they should always do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to argue against or like money and someone being worth 100 million when these clubs have infinite resources for,
Yeah,
or
pretty
for
much.
better or worse. So like I think that argument will kind of always win. But I guess for the value that they could have gotten other players with that same money, I don't think those players are worth it.
Yeah,
That's fair. Yeah.
fair.
So.